Hi all, welcome back to Beanie Composter. We had a comment from someone asking how much I'm feeding into the Mini per week. So I thought today's video would be on what I'm putting into the Mini over a week. And we're in, end of December, come January when we're filming this. So not summer when you think your Hotbin would be working, real efficiently. So let's see what we can put into the Hotbin in a winter period for 1 week. Now the Hotbin, the mini one, has been up and down since I started it up, but fortunately at the moment we're hitting the 60 mark with steam coming out. We're at 60 degrees as you can see there, so let's see if we can keep it at that temperature. And I have noticed with the mini, as with the larger one, especially at winter time, you find when it goes cold, you give it a good old stir up and the volume drops right down. So I think that's why, come winter you're struggling to find waste, and you're not perhaps feeding it as much as in summer. And also the temperature's not as warm obviously in winter. But I'm going to show you what we're feeding ours for this week, and let's see if it stays hot in that period. As you've seen, Hotbin is at 60 degrees, so I'm putting cooked food into there at the moment, so everything I can find. So we've got a few garden weeds in there that are just roughly cut up. Got chicken bones here. I hope that's not what, and it's just a bit of chocolate sauce. Yeah, that's chocolate sauce, thank God. So we got chicken bones because it's running nice and hot now. Got some scraps of iceberg lettuce. I thought I was getting a lovely prawn cocktail for Christmas, lunch, but in the end I only got a bag of prawn and cocktail crisps. But anyhow, that's how life goes. Regular kitchen scraps there, bananas, fruit, a bit of old bread. And then I've torn up, because we've got quite a lot of cardboard at the moment, I've been tearing that up and using that instead of shredded paper. And then I've got the usual still bits of the red robin and some of the hedge, like the rose trimmings that we cut down back in the summer that have just been sitting in the shed, accumulating but rotting down slowly. So little bits and pieces like that in there. So we've got a whole full bucket worth there. I know that's probably too much than the Hotbin recommend, but I'm gonna go with this. And I've got 2 handfuls of bulking agent there as well. So all of that, we're going to put that in the Hotbin. We're at 60 degrees in here at the moment, so whether that's winter, summer, autumn, spring, you're still going to be composting 32 times quicker than normal composting, like cold composting. So that's why I'm adding, probably more waste than the Hotbin company recommend, because when we're at that temperature it seems to eat it really quick, and if you don't keep on top of it, you can find your Hotbin just goes cold, like I've said. So normal procedure, thermometer out, get your breaking stick in there, and if we get a close-up I'll show you what we're looking like in ours, as in like moisture and things like that. We've had quite a lot of rainfall over the last few days, so I feel like the bin is quite damp, but I'm just giving it a little stir around before I put the new waste in. I go right down the sides when I'm stirring, just to check, that it's You know, there's no gaps there, so I put the stick right down the sides and just give that a good stir up and make sure, you know, we're all okay there. So not too much of a stir up, but I just like to check down the sides, and then thermometer back in, door shut, and we'll see how we get on. That's day one out the way. We'll give that a day to just get the temperature back up. When I gave that a little bit of a stir around, it wasn't, you know, as pleasant smell as normal, so I think, you know, day two I'm going to put in a little bit more paper and cardboard just to counteract some of that moisture that may have got in with the rain. But we'll see how we go on the next day. We put the builder's bucket worth of waste into the Mini 2 days ago, and we've given that a day's rest. If you have a look now where we're at, the Hotbin has recovered and we're nicely up to temperature again. So we're at the 60 with the Mini probe, and I'm gonna just give that a good stir up, and you know, I'm gonna smell, because I said in the, you know, the previous feed that I thought it smelled a bit not so nice, so I'm just going to check to see how it is, and if, like I said, I'm going to put some more paper in this time if I think it's a bit damp and smelly. I've given that a stir around. It's a little bit wetter than I would like, but it's not as bad as I thought. And you know, with what I'm going to be putting in today, I'll be putting in a little bit extra cardboard and shredded paper. We're the 1st of January today, so Happy New Year to everybody. And our previous video, which was about 6 ways to get extra waste in the winter, well, today I've been out to the front bit and I've collected a ton of dandelion leaves with the roots as well. Because we're hot composting, all of that can go in there. There is still plenty of waste this time of year, you've just got to look for it. So in the bottom of this bucket I've just got some of the old rose trimmings and some of the red robin that we trimmed down in the summer that's been storing, and I'm going to add into that all of these dandelion leaves. And in this bucket here I've got some of the lamb's ear plant, and you know, just a few weeds and leaves that I've picked from the garden. So today I'm gonna half fill this builder's bucket worth of waste, and then we're gonna add in some paper and cardboard and also some bulking agent. First of all, I'm gonna add in some cut up cardboard just because of that moisture content that's already in there, so I'm gonna do that first of all. So I'm going to add in half a caddy of torn up cardboard and give that a good stir in. And then I'm going with that bucket worth of waste, and with that I'm going to add in 2 scoops of bulking agent, so you know, roughly about 2 large handfuls. So once again we've got quite a bit of paper in there. The dandelions, although they're nice and dry, they are going to contain quite a bit of moisture, so I don't want, because it's, you know, it's winter, and I don't want, you know, the Hotbin getting really damp and wet, because it just causes you too many problems. It's better if you can run it drier. Then I, you know, put the thermometer back in That's not really going to show you too much, but we know it was running really hot. We've had it open for a little while, but time we get it shut and all that starts to build up some heat again. So that's it for today. We're going to leave that now for tomorrow, and then we'll be back for the next feed a day after. So it's been 2 days since we last fed the Hotbin, and in that time the temperature's actually gone quite, you know, it's plummeted. So this morning was about -3, -4, so proper cold again. And I've checked the bin tonight just before I give it a feed, and we're just borderline at 40. So I'll quickly film that and we'll put it in here. But you know, it's so dark outside, it's not easy for me and the missus to do this, so I'm just going to show you in here what we're putting in tonight. So in this one, this is what I prepared, you know, the last time I fed the bin. So I've just got, you know, some of the weeds and that from the garden that I took out, and we've got, you know, bits and pieces of the rose and the hedge trimmings that I had left in the shed that I'm just using up, coming to the last bits. I'm going to add in like a scoop full of bulking agent with this as well, even though we've got sort of bulking bits in here. And then we've got the kitchen caddy, which has got some cooked food in, eggs and, you know, vegetables, potatoes, you know, fruit peelings, bits and pieces like this. I'm not going to add the whole thing in, I'm going to add half in, and then I'm going to use the rest for the large one. And with this I've got half you know, half of the kitchen caddy again of, you know, shredded up cardboard, which is going to go in as well. And it will be the normal procedure, me just putting the stuff in, mixing it up, and, you know, no different to what we've been doing the last few feeds. Back at the weekend, so we're filming in daylight hours, which is much better for you guys and for us. Yesterday, which was Saturday, was, you know, raining pretty much all day long, and we fed the Hotbin on the Thursday, so we had Friday off, and I was to, you know, we were to record on the Saturday with this feed, but like I say, it was raining so much, and when I checked the Hotbin, in just that, you know, day off, we dropped temperature dramatically from like 60 to 40, and you know, we had a frost for a couple of days as well, so it just goes to show, rain and frost, the Hotbin hates it. And you know, so we've dropped just below 40, so I'm not going to put any cooked food in there today. So anyone who's been watching our channel will know that in the summer we trimmed the hedge and we trimmed rambling rose that we've got at the back of the garden, and you know, this is the last of all of that hedge and rose bush in here, so we've managed to get rid of all of that now. And also I cut down the red robin, you know, that we've got at the side of the house, and I've still got a couple of bags of that, so I'm just incorporating, you know, a little bit of that into each of, you know, the feeds now. I also brought back from work some, you know, scraps, so melon trimmings, some lemons, carrot peelings, bits and pieces like this, which I'm going to chop up, put in the bucket, and then we'll come back to it. Although we didn't have a real Christmas tree in the house, the missus seemed to manage to rob some branches from somewhere, and she had them hanging up on the wall, so probably going to be moaning later that, you know, there's some sort of stain on the wall. But you know,
I didn't rob anyone, they were from Lidl.
okay, but anyway, I'm going to be using this for the bulking agent today, just to get rid of it, and you know, it's going to help. So if you are, you know, throwing your Christmas tree away, like I've said before, they're ideal for bulking agent. So I'll get this chopped up in there and then come back. So everything's prepared there. We've got pretty much 3/4 of a bucket's worth there. I'm going to add in a whole almost a whole caddy's worth of torn up cardboard in with that today. As I said, yesterday was raining, but I did come out, I checked the temperature, and like I said, it had dropped down, but I just gave that a good stir up because, you know, I wanted to see if a lot of water had got into it or whether it was okay. But I'll show you what we're at the moment. So the outside temperature, which, you know, sometimes you can go by, sometimes not, but that's proper dropped right down. And inside, no steam, and we've dropped below the 40 now. I'll give it a little stir around. We've still got steam in there, so there is like quite a lot of heat, and you know, the temperature we were at, we don't need the kickstart bottle because that's not really going to make any difference with the heat we've got in there already. So just give that a small stir, and then I'm going to add in all that stuff from the bucket and the paper. Because we've got, you know, clumps of carrot peelings there, I just want to make sure they're like nicely dispersed. Like there, we've got like the carrot. I just want to make sure they're, you know, if you're doing this at home, you probably wouldn't have as much carrot peelings as I've got there, but if you're collecting from maybe a cafe or something, you could end up with clumps. Well, that's a great start there, guys. The handle of my mini thing's just broken off, so anyway, let's carry on regardless, as they say in the Carry On film. You can see a review coming up for the mini with this handle. So I'm just giving that a light stir around, making sure it's all nicely dispersed. And then we're pretty much 3/4 full there now, so you know, we should be, you know, hot composting by now, or it shouldn't be going so cold so quickly. So that's all in there, mixed around, and lid is shut now. We're showing like a little bit lower because obviously we put all that cold stuff in, but I'm hoping, you know, providing we don't get any more frost than that the temperature should come up with the amount of stuff we've got in here. Okay guys, back by popular demand by Mrs. B, we're doing a summary on the bench. But this is a, you know, winter feed. We've done this in the first week of January, which for me is like probably one of the hardest months to be feeding your bin, as well as February. We've had, like, you know, wet weather, we've had a few hard frosts for Surrey, and that really has impacted what we've been, you know, able to, you know, the temperature we've been able to keep the bin at. It's been up and down like a yo-yo, and most of the time we were having that at, you know, 60 degrees, and we were composting really well. But a few days, you know, of missing a feed has really made the bin just go down in temperature. So it just goes to show, to keep your hot bin hot, you do really need to keep feeding it, you know, every other day if possible. So a couple of times we've given it a 2-day break, and it really has impacted that temperature. I'm not sure if I had have been out and fed it every other day, whether that would have still happened, you know, who's to know. But I do think that one feed a week, especially in the winter, just isn't enough. But this is a winter feed with the mini. I'm going to be doing a summertime feed with the mini, because I think that's when you can really see just how much you can put into it. But I think this one has gone to show that you can be feeding your mini quite a bit at this time of year, and although it's difficult to keep maintaining that hot composting temperature, with a bit of effort you can get it up and down as you require it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. The missus is giving a thumbs up to the blue tit. She's absolutely crazy. But until next time, hope this video has helped someone out, and you know, happy composting and enjoy.